living food, so amazing. Eat life. Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make kimchi. It's going to be my first time making it.
Now, I've adapted this recipe so it has no sweet rice flour in it because I want to avoid gluten, and no mushrooms because I need to avoid any funguses.
So I'm inviting a friend of mine to come along. She's Chinese, she's not Korean, but we both wanted to learn to make it together, and it becomes quite a trial, I have to tell you. But it's not that hard to do once you understand what you're doing. And so this is our final result. It's absolutely beautiful. As usual, it's a beautiful process. Our maker is good. So here it is, and let's get started. The most important thing in all cases with preparing your fermented foods is that you boil your jars for about half an hour in a huge pot of hot water, and just leave them to boil so that all of the bad bacteria, anything, pathogens, anything in the environment that you don't want entering into competition with your probiotics will be gone. This is why it's so important to ferment your own probiotics, because then you are fermenting good bacteria that is local to the environment that you're in. And so then it can then combat the bad bacteria. You can see way back there, I've already washed my cabbage. Typically, from what I've seen, what they do is they just wash the cabbage all together and then slice it up. We're going to slice this up very finely so the fermentation process will be very even and it'll go a lot more quickly. I know typically with making the Korean kimchi, from what I've learned from watching Mommy Tang's video with the CEO from, from my friends on camera, the CEO from Mother-in-Law's Kimchi. She was saying that typically in Korea in November they would harvest all the cabbage because that's when it was at the perfect texture, and then they would chop it all up and chop it up according to different consistencies, so that later on in the year some of it would be more fermented than others. So the bigger chunks would take longer to ferment, and then the smaller, finer cuts would ferment much more quickly so they could eat them earlier on in the season. Fortunately, we have a year-round growing season. So I'm just going to, with my first test, we're going to do a very fine cut. And I have been a total cabbage cutting Nazi with my friend Teresa, who's off camera. So this is my friend Teresa.
Hi.
And today we're in the Alongside Cancer Ministry together. And today we both are struggling with autoimmune stuff. And so we have decided to work on doing some probiotics today. And as you know, I've been struggling with my illness, and I've been doing the Gerson therapy. But as you know from many of my videos, I'm always like, I'm doing Gerson, but, and really honestly, because I have to work full time and function in real life, I don't have somebody to do the Gerson with me every day. Sometimes I work 12 hours a day, so I can't do the Gerson all the time. And so I found other ways to compensate doing herbs and stuff. But recently, in the last 6-7 months, I've started looking at the Hippocrates diet as well. And that includes a lot of probiotics and prebiotics to help rebuild the gut and strengthen your immunity through the enzymes that probiotics help to regenerate in your stomach. So today we are making vegan kimchi. And Teresa is going to help me. And I have been an absolute monster today. Today we chopped up all of this cabbage.
Yep.
And as Teresa was trying to help me and chop it up, I was so perfectionistic about learning the technique and everything. I went to Mommy Tang's channel to learn it from Mommy Tang and from the CEO of Mother-in-Law's Kimchi, who she did an amazing job of explaining how to make kimchi. And so we're going to tag Mommy Tang in this. And but anyway, so I was like, we have to get it exactly, and I was getting so uptight about it. And Teresa, we're also dedicating this to Teresa's mom, whose name is
Q.
I don't know her name. I just know her as Teresa's mom. And I say, hi, mommy. I say, Neho mom, mommy. So I don't know her name. So I had to ask Teresa. But anyway, So, and Teresa's mom has been explaining to her how to make Chinese food. And Teresa has struggled with it because it's like, you know, mom and daughter, right? So then here I am pretending I'm like her mom and acting probably the worst. Like, you have to do it perfectly and you have to la 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 la. And then I do a recording of how to cut this stuff up and I'm fumbling through it. And then I'm like, okay, let's just move on. As you can see, we washed and prepared all of our cabbage. Washed it in the sink with peroxide vinegar and iodine to clean off all of the bacteria so that we have a nice clean environment and we have a nice place for the good bacteria to grow and to give them a good opportunity to grow. So anyway, we were prepping this next section of the video and suddenly Teresa's chopping everything up absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to show off her mad knife skills for how to cut up kimchi properly. Good home training.
Amen. Finally, all those years paid off.
She's like, now I remember. Now I know. Now I know.
Now I'm grateful. All those years.
Yeah, and we're going to show her mother this video so her mother can watch in shock and awe. The only way that we were able to achieve this was because Teresa did what? She prayed. She had to pray.
Yay. I recommend prayer for everything because it's the only way to go.
Prayer.
That's how all this came about.
Yeah, prayer and mad knife skills.
In whom the Lord fashioned me. Psalm 139.
So, so this goes out to Mommy Tang, CEO of Mother-in-Laws, Kimchi, and Teresa's mommy too. So here we go, and so let's get started on making some kimchi. And as I said, and also I'm going to do a lot more videos on probiotics, prebiotics, water kefirs. I'm going to go through all of those, and I've got a playlist. And I'm going to have Mommy Tang's video on the playlist just after this video so you can watch her make this. And we're making a vegan, because Mommy Tang is a vegan, so we're making a vegan kimchi. And I went to my local Korean store. There's a lot of them in Vancouver because Vancouver is huge for diverse Asian communities, so it's a perfect place to get all these ingredients. So look for more videos on probiotics, fermented foods, and fermented drinks to help with healing the gut. And we're going to see how my healing progresses with that. I'm going to stay with doing the Gerson as well on top of that, and some additional herbs as well. So here we go. Let's get started. Well, we're already started. Teresa started. So she's cutting up a lot of the cabbage. She's going to cut the rest of it because, as you can see, she cuts far better than I do with her good Chinese upbringing. So, yeah, this is actually how you cut them.
Yes.
As opposed to how I was cutting them, which is kind of messy and inefficient. Beautiful knife skills brought to you by Teresa and her mother.
Thank you, Mom. All those years.
This is the bowl that she cut up. See, it's nice and cut on an angle, visually pleasing to the eye. And so what we're going to do is, once we've got this all done, then we're going to use the magic bullet to blenderize all of our ingredients, all of our vegan ingredients. So we have our cabbage, green onions, one bunch of green onions, garlic, 3 green apples. We're going to use some lime as well to help with the fermentation and preservation process and also adding flavor. We have our ginger, lovely daikon radish. We may use a little more or less. We'll figure it out. We've got our natural sea salt, our Korean red pepper powder. And we've already sliced up, Teresa and I have already sliced up some of the cabbage. As I said, we're doing it in small slices. And then in these 2 bowls, we're going to prepare the brine. And of course, over here we have our bullet, which we are going to put all of our vegan fish sauce in, or our vegan sauce. And we're gonna probably grate our daikon radish. Maybe we'll slice some of it. And now, once Teresa's done with this, then we're going to put this all into a brine. So we'll get started on that now. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put salt, about 2.5 tablespoons. This is almost 2 cabbages, and so it's about 3 tablespoons of sea salt per cabbage, and then we're just going to let it sit, add a little bit of water, and then sit in the brine for a while until it softens. So we're going to put about 3 tablespoons of salt in each one. So this is 2 cabbages, so we're looking at 6 tablespoons, and this is about 3 tablespoons. A little bit more. And then we're just going to add a bit of water. Now this is the time that we mix it up with our hands. I put the salt in, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of water in with these. Just usually you can let these sit for about 2 hours. So we're just going to start mixing this up with our hands. I've added a little bit of water, but we've got all of the, and Teresa's jumping in too. I'm going to shed a little light on the situation. So as you can see, we're just distributing the salt throughout the cabbage so that it helps to soften it, aids in the fermentation process. And of course, bad bacteria hate salt and light. So oxygen, all of those things. But good bacteria likes salt, except it prefers a darker place too. So just mixing this one up. I add a little bit of water to this, just a little bit in the bottom. And so you see how this one's already starting to break down. Like, look how much lower it is now. We might be able to all put it into this container. Put it all into this container. All right, so we'll just let that sit, probably cover it with some saran wrap so that nothing bad gets in it. And we'll just let it sit for a couple of hours and soften. And once it's softened, it should be at the point where it doesn't break. Like, for example, if we take it like this, it snaps. So it has to ferment or just let the salt soak in long enough that it's rubbery. And that's how we know that we can put it into jars and leave it to ferment. But first, we're going to go on to make our vegan sauce additions. So we're going to put all of these ingredients into the blender. I think I'm going to keep this aside, but I sliced up a whole bunch of green onions and put garlic, ginger, green onions into this blender. And I'm also going to put in some lime. Notice how I peeled off I peeled it all down to the pith, which is where most of the nutrients are. And so we're also going to put that in as part of our sauce, our vegan sauce. And so I'm going to cut up these apples. I may put 3 or maybe 4 in. So, and then here is Teresa's bowl of beautifully cut daikon radish. So we've got to put all of this in here. I'm just going to do pieces of it.
Oh. So, sorry, what did they teach her at?
So this is now no longer snapping, so that means it is ready. So we're just going to, and I put it all in here. It's just a bigger container. So now we're going to just drain some of this liquid off, and then we're going to stuff it into jars with our lovely our lovely daikon radish and our vegan sauce, and we have to add our pepper. Okay.
Sunflower. I will keep praying for her.
Now this is one thing I don't like. I don't like rinsing it with water.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So we just wound up rinsing it with reverse osmosis water because I don't want any pathogens or anything from tap water to get into it. But in the future, I just won't rinse it. I'll just simply push it down like you do with most ferments.
Yeah.
So we're going to add 6 tablespoons of the chili powder here. You only see me add 5. I add another one off camera in another take. But yeah, the color is just so bright and brilliant, and Teresa is being a great help to me.
There I go again. So we add all this stuff.
So I just put some of the remains of the sauce in. I put the sauce all in one container. And but here I'm adding all of the daikon radish now.
Okay, is that okay. So I'm going to put some on here. Okay, so let's try mixing that around, then I'll add more. So try and keep it. Oh. Try to keep it in frame. I think it looks okay still where it is. It's beautiful, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now I know what goes inside. Cayenne pepper.
Well, it's chili pepper. So the next time we make kimchi, because we're going to have to do it over light. We both will know what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to plan it together. And maybe you, Teresa, can do all the logistical planning. Because we're not taking our gloves off, because we don't want to burn our hands, I got some of this on the outside, but I'm going to wash it off. So, Teresa and I are going to put our kimchi in here. And what you do is you pack it in and squish it down. So see how the liquid comes up when you squish it down? because it's supposed to be submerged in the liquid. So you pack it in. Oh my gosh, look at that, huh? It's amazing. I mean, I think this is genius. It's just genius. Now they say that you should put in the top like some cabbage or something to weight it down. So we're gonna have to wipe off the outsides of these jars afterwards. I love the color. That's what I love. Like, I love that green apple thing. The color with the red pepper. It looked absolutely amazing.
I like this red pepper right here.
I mean, I just love the color that comes out in foods. Like, it's just, to me, it's always a good sign, right?
Oh yeah, lots of color.
Yeah, that you're dealing with a good food.
Okay, so go.
Now, you're supposed to kind of weight it down on top, but I don't know.
Is this good enough?
Fill it right to the top so there's liquid coming out of the top.
Okay.
And that will somehow create a seal, I believe.
Oh.
So look at this deep, rich, red chili pepper color. So we filled the jars with the liquid. We were able to get it beyond the actual kimchi, so that was really good.
Hi guys, we stayed up really late last night making the kimchi, and so I'm up today with daylight showing it to you. So Teresa's not here, but this is what it turned out like. We made 4 of these jars. So here is the final product. It looks quite beautiful. One of the things I've really enjoyed in the process of making is just looking at the beautiful, brilliant colors that come out in the food in the process of making these natural and fermented foods. Whatever I make, I just find it's one of the great pleasures of cooking and working with raw, real, or cooked organic foods. And you can look forward to me tasting in the following video after this that I post next, the final actual product. And I'll share it with Teresa and maybe her mom and her dad, but we'll see what happens. So I just came from my workout and I'm starving. So I was like, I decided to open the kimchi. I decided I had to open it. So I opened it and I tasted a bit, but I'm gonna open it on camera too and have a real taste. So, a little bit funky on top. It went right to the top. I did have to add some liquid to it because it was full to the top. So here it is. And I am going to eat it. I tasted it, a tiny bit of it. I have to be quite honest with you. And it is good. It tastes like store-bought kimchi. I mean, better. Like I was like, if I can just get it to store-bought kimchi, I'll be happy. And it is better. It's like, it's really good. So I'm gonna have it with my salad today. It's zingy, bubbly. You know, all of the good happy bacteria are in there. You can see in the back I still have the other ones fermenting. I'm gonna let them ferment for a few more days. They say about 7 days. So this is at I think it's 7. It would be 7 days tonight, actually. So this is just a little more than 6 days, and it's really good. Like, I am loving it. Cabbage is crunchy. Daikon radish. So I'm gonna have it on my salad. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Mommy Tang and Teresa's mom, for all the help that you provided with, and thank you, Teresa, as well. And so don't forget to live light well, eat life. See you next time. Bless.